Good morning, chemistry students. My name is Mr. Adam. This is chemistry. Today is the 15th of April. It is a Wednesday, and it is a day 5. So good morning, everybody. I hope you're all doing well. I hope school at home and online instruction continues to be going well for you. Just a quick reminder, we sent out a survey recently as a high school about how we're doing, what we're doing here, and what's going on. Just a quick reminder that overall, my number one message to you is to not overstress about this kind of stuff. But at this point, you should be fairly used to the school at home curriculum. You should be used to doing your work and figuring out everything on the Google Classroom, making sure to submit everything. Just a reminder, I keep saying to everybody that I email or talk to, I keep saying 3 things: to stay safe, stay positive, and keep working hard. So I hope you're still staying safe. I hope your family and you are all doing well, that you're staying healthy and taking the preventative measures to stay healthy in this time. I hope you're staying positive, keeping your spirits up, still getting to do fun things, communicate with the people that you love and with your friends, and that you are keeping a positive attitude. And lastly, I hope you're still working hard. I hope you are putting forth an effort into the things that you care about in your life. So your hobbies, your relationships, your families, but also that you're still working hard at school, because we still have about 2 more months, about 40 more days of this school at home, this online instruction. I need you guys to keep taking it seriously, and honestly, I think most of you, 90+% of you, have been doing a really good job at that so far. I've seen a lot of people making sure to complete the assignment every day, and I've seen a lot of people trying again if they don't at first pass a lesson, or if they don't first do as well as they wanted to do. So I'm seeing a lot of good initial efforts, a lot of good follow-up efforts, and that's the kind of stuff I like to keep seeing. So like I said, stay safe, stay positive, and keep working hard. Okay? All right. So for today, for the first time at school at home, I'm kind of sad. And that's because if we were in school today, if we were in the building today, this would be our lab day. This would be the day that we were actually doing a lab and getting our hands on some chemicals and making some smells. So it's a little bit sad. I'm a little bit, heartbroken that we don't get to do this lab together, but we gotta stay safe. We gotta stay positive, and we gotta keep working hard and soldier on and do this lab the best we can outside of the classroom. So, a couple things today. I believe it's on tomorrow's part 2 assignment, but what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to read the completed lab for this lab. So it'll have instructions for you. You'll read through those instructions, what you would be doing, and then you'll read through the data and kind of think through the data and assess it. What's going on here? What are the smells of the chemicals like before we mix everything together, and what are the smells like after we mix everything together? And why did that happen? Why did things change the way that they did? You can also watch like a 5-minute lab video that I posted. It is some other chemistry teacher on the internet that I found on YouTube who does an ester synthesis lab, which is what we were doing. It's not using the exact same chemicals, but what he's doing is he's mixing 2 chemicals together, right? When he mixes those 2 chemicals, there's a new smell produced. And he talks a little bit about it. Unfortunately, we don't have smell-o-vision TV or anything, so we can't actually smell the smells through the screen, but he talks about how the smells transform and how they're different. And he'll show you basically what the procedures that you're doing. It's just unfortunate because we can't actually smell these things ourselves. But fortunately, most of you were in class the Friday before we had to close down the schools and start school at home and online instruction. So I want you for a second, we haven't done this together in a while, but I want you for a second to close your eyes and imagine, right? Imagine for a second last smell we smelled together in class. It was that bad one. It was the one that we called putrid, that smelled like sweaty gym socks or poopy diapers, I heard from a lot of people, or vomit, or Parmesan cheese, or something old and moldy, right? It smelled disgusting. So for a second, kind of imagine that smell, how bad it was. It was real bad. But go ahead and think about it, okay? Now, I want you to imagine the smell of rubbing alcohol. Don't go get rubbing alcohol and actually smell it, but imagine how it smells. It kind of has that medicinal smell. It kind of stings the nostrils a little bit. It's not super unpleasant, but it's quite strong, right? So imagine those 2 smells. Neither really pleasant, both pretty strong. I wouldn't go around sniffing either of those voluntarily, right? Okay. So imagine those two smells. I have two chemicals. Each is different. Each is a different molecule. And we know that because they each have a different smell. We said if there's a different smell, those molecules have to be different. Now, in this lab, what you're doing is mixing those chemicals together, right? You're mixing them together, and you would be heating them and stirring them and letting them come together. And when you do that, you waft and you smell, and you don't smell the stinky smell of sweaty gym socks or poopy diapers or old feet, right? You don't smell that rubbing alcohol smell. What you smell instead is something fruity. It smells like apples. It's kind of pleasant, right? So you smell this fruity apple-like smell after you mix those chemicals together. And the original two smells are gone. What does that mean? I want you to think about that two ways, right? If we have a new smell, we said that one smell results from a certain kind of molecule, right? So if we have a new smell, that means we have a new what? A new molecule. Okay, so we have a new molecule here. We've created something new that is unlike the first two molecules, the first two chemicals that we had, right? Think about it a different way, too. We talked all the way back in Unit 1 about these things called chemical changes, right? We said there are 5 pieces of evidence that show you that you have a chemical change. Let's go through them together, right? Production of a precipitate or formation of a precipitate, precipitation formation. Formation of a gas or bubbles, right? Evolution of light or heat, right? Release of energy, okay? Then there was unexpected color change, something changing unexpectedly. So not combining blue and yellow to make green, but combining blue and yellow to make something like orange, right? Okay. And then lastly, odor, right? We said if we had an odor, a new odor, that meant that there was something new, right? So if we have a new odor, we have a new molecule, something new, which means that what has happened? A chemical change. And that chemical change is written through a chemical reaction, right? Or we write a chemical equation, and that tells us that a chemical reaction has taken place, okay? So that's really important for us. We have a chemical change here that resulted from a chemical reaction, and that's giving us something new. So we're doing this in the lab, it's fun, we're playing with chemicals, we're adding them together, making new smells, and that's great. But when is this actually useful, Mr. Adam? Why do we care about changing the smells of things? It just seems like magic that I don't necessarily care about. When is this useful in my life? Well, think about it. When do you encounter unpleasant smells? You yourself might put off some unpleasant smells, right? There might be unpleasant smells in the bathroom. I know my cat who's walking around here now puts off some unpleasant smells in her bathroom, in the litter box, right? So when would you want to take an unpleasant smell and get rid of it or make it pleasant? In those cases, right? So what could you do to take away the unpleasant smell? If you have molecules that smell bad, and you add them to other certain molecules that are going to react with them in a certain way, if you put those two molecules together, they're going to transform, and they're going to create something new, right? They're going to create a new chemical. And that new chemical, either it might not smell at all, might not give off a bad odor, or it might smell nice, actually, right? It might smell sweet. So you want to replace those bad smelling compounds with something that smells sweet or that doesn't smell at all, right? So you want to create some sort of potential for reaction to get rid of stinky molecules and make new sweet smelling, nice smelling, or neutral smelling molecules, right? So that's kind of the purpose of this lab. We're taking chemicals, adding them together, doing this thing called a synthesis. We haven't talked about synthesis for a while, but synthesis is adding two things together and making one. It's creating something new, synthesizing something new, right? So we're adding two chemicals together that smell bad or not great and making something new, making something sweet and pleasant smelling, right? Okay. So that's kind of, that's kind of the point of our lab today. First video in which I am dying, apparently. And that's kind of the point of our lab today, is to take old chemicals and make something new through a chemical change, a chemical reaction. When you do the Smells Lesson 7 review, you're going to want to read the lab pretty carefully and make sure that when you read it, you're reading all the details, all the steps, to see what exactly you're using and what exactly you're doing and what chemicals you're using. So read the details, All the details are in there. We're not putting any trick questions in the Smells Lesson 7 review to make you not get it. Just make sure you read the lab thoroughly and you'll get all the details you need for it, okay? And again, take some time to imagine that we're actually doing this lab, what would we be doing, and what it would smell like, and what we would observe with our noses in this one. All right, so that's all I got for you today. Don't have a share of the day today, except, let's make up one up right now. Share the day. There we go. Share of the day today. What is one thing that you wish you could have back about normal school? Okay, so what do you wish you could have back about normal school? Do you wish you could have lab days back? Do you wish you could see your teachers again? Do you wish you could see your friends? Do you wish you could eat the school lunches all the time? Do you wish you had, I don't know, gym class again? What is one thing that you wish you could have back? And then this isn't part of the share, but if you want to add it, you can. What is one way you can kind of bring that back into your life? What is one way that you can kind of replicate lab days? What is one way that you could replicate gym class, or that you could replicate seeing your friends? Can you meet up with them somehow? Can you do something like that, right? So think about that. Share that with me. Share that with yourself, or just reflect on it by yourself. Any of those things is fine. All right. I will see you all tomorrow. We'll have our lab day part 2, and we'll do our Smells Lesson 7 review. Keep working hard. Stay safe. Stay positive. Keep your spirits up. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Let's get a 1, 2, 3. Clap on me.